Alright guys, this is Ashwin here. In this video, we are going to analyze the traffic data of a certain company and we are going to forecast that traffic for a future of 3 months. So this is going to be a first time series analysis. So far we have done for regression and classification. This will be very much interesting topic because this time series analysis can be used for many things like stock market analysis, product sales, items demand, like that. You can think about numerous applications for time series analysis. So as a beginner, you need to start with the basic modules. So that's why I'm going to start with the basic thing. So you can easily forecast the data you are going to provide with ease of effort. So let's see the data set. So investors are considering an investment in a new form of transportation, jet rail. So this is the data set we have. Jet rail uses jet propulsion technology to run rails and move people at a high speed. While jet rail has mastered the technology and they hold the patent for their product, the investment would only make sense if they can get more than 1 million monthly users within next 18 months. You need to help Unicorn Ventures with the decisions. They usually invest in B2C startups less than 4 years old looking for pre-series A funding. In order to help Unicorn Ventures in their decision, you need to forecast the traffic on JetRail for the next 7 months. So as you can see, this is like a real world scenario. We are going to estimate the number of users that are going to use in a daily basis for the next 7 months. So if you are going to doing for a contest means you will be training with the whole data and just predict for the next 7 months and submit the data. Like that, it will be very simple, but I'm going to do a train test plate with the training data so we can see clearly how much the prediction results are accurate. That is similar to a backtesting. So you will be using these kind of techniques in many projects. Make sure you understand these concepts clearly. Okay, let's import the modules. The basic modules are import pandas as PD, import numpy as np, import matplotlib dot pyplot as plot, and matplotlib inline, import warnings dot filter warnings, ignore. So these are the basic modules we are going to use. I'm just going to use matplot here instead of Seaborn. So that is simpler because we are going to display one or two graphs only. Let's run this. So apart from these basic modules, you need to import a specific module. So for that, you need to install that pip install fb prophet. So this is the module we need to use for time series analysis. You can also use, there are other modules similar to this like ARIMA. You can also use LSTM for large amount of data. We will see those modules in the future with some other different scenarios. So if you want to install this module, you need to install Visual C++ libraries. So you need to install the whole Visual Studio because they will contain all the C++ libraries. Apart from that, if you face some errors means use conda install. If you face errors. So make sure you run this command and install the module. And after that, we will import that. Let's import it now from fb prophet import prophet. Let's run this again. So I also face some issues after installing the Visual C++. So if you are facing errors using this pip install means you can use conda install. That cleared my error. I'm using Anaconda for all the machine learning libraries. So make sure you use the appropriate command. If you can't install this in the Jupyter notebook means try to install it using Anaconda prompt. You should run this prompt as an administrator, so you won't be facing any permission errors. Okay, let's load the data set. Df equals pd dot read csv data dot csv. Let's display the head. So these are the data we have. We will be dropping this ID because it is no use for us. And they have displayed the data for a day, and for that particular hour, they are displaying the count. Let's see the whole data. So this will be the whole data. They are giving the data for 3 years, I guess, 2012 to 2014, and they are giving in hourly basis. We will just combine all the hourly data into a day data. So for each day, what is the total number of count we are going to have? Like that, we can able to predict. So that will be much easier for us. Okay, let's do the pre-processing step. In this data, we won't be seeing any null values. Let's check about that. Check null values df dot isNull dot sum. Usually in the time series data, you should not be having any null values and the data should be continuous. So you should not shuffle the data too. If the data is continuous means you are good to go. You don't need to do that much pre-processing. Next step, we need to convert this datetime into a datetime format. So let's check how it's before. So this is going to be an object. So we'll be converting this object into a datetime attribute. Let's leave some space. Now let's convert the date. Df dot datetime equals pd dot to underscore datetime. I'm just pressing tab for autocomplete. Now df of datetime, and let's fix a format equals percentage d, that is for date, percentage month, and year, let's say y, and leave a space. Now for hour and for minute. So if you can't understand the format means, just check what are the parameters you need to mention here in order to convert it appropriately. Even if the time series data contains seconds means you can just add the seconds after this. Now let's display it again. df.info. Let's run this. So we have converted the object to datetime attribute. So convert object to datetime data type. Okay. So in this, we are going to do the exploratory analysis only once. We can just delete this. So here, EDA plot dot plot df of datetime, comma df of count. Let's display the graph. Run this. So this is the graph we are having. Let's make it bigger. Plot dot figure fig size equals, let's say 10 comma 7. Okay, that is somewhat bigger. From 2012 10th month to 2014 10th month, you can see the number of users gradually increasing. So at the end of 2014, they have reached around 1200. So we can see a clear trend, that is an increasing one, using this exploratory data analysis. So make sure you do all the data analysis for time series analysis, because using the visualization itself, you can able to understand what is the trend of the data and the seasonality, everything you can able to understand here. Now we need to format the data for our model. Let's change it to format data for the model. Okay, df dot index equals df of date time. Now df of y. So this is the attribute we are going to predict. So that is count. So the variable should actually be y only. That's why we are converting the attributes. We can just directly feed the input attribute and the output attribute directly to the model. It needs to be in a specific format. That's why we are doing this processing. Now we need to drop the remaining columns. Df dot drop columns equals, what are the columns we need to drop? ID, date time, because we are assigned that to index, and after that count is also assigned. So count, think that's it. We need to delete in column wise, so that is access equals 1. In order to retain the information after transformation, we need to do in place equals true. Now df equals df dot resample d dot sum. So what I am doing is we are going to combine all the data for a particular day and sum it. So for this day, we are going to sum all the counts and store it in a single row. So that's why I'm using this. Let's display it now. Run this. Now, based on the index, you can see for each day we are getting the count. So that is much easier for it. Okay, after that, we need to format it accordingly again. So df of ds. So this will be our input, that is the date time. So df dot index. So this dark bold color, that is our index. So I'm just assigning the index into a column. Let's display it again. Df dot head. Run this. Now this is our input and this will be our output. Now let's split the data for train and test. Now for splitting, we need to store the length, I guess. Let's predict for 60 days. So size equals 60. Let's import that train test split. So from sklearn dot model selection import train test split. Okay, just ran again. So now train comma test equals, I'm just splitting the data. So train test split of, I'm just giving the data frame. So it will just split the data frame accordingly. So there is no input and output. If you specify two parameters, means you need to give the output parameters like y test and y train. You need to specify it accordingly. So I'm just giving the whole data set. Now test size equals size divided by len of df. So we don't have the exact percentage. That's why I'm using size divided by length of df. It will give us a percentage. Now shuffle equals false. So it should not shuffle the data. Okay, let's run this. Let's check the data. Train dot tail. So this is the data we have to 2014 7/27. Let's check it for test. Run this. So the continuation is there. So 28, 29 like that. For the 60 days data, it is stored in test. So we have split up the data set to back test and test our model. Okay, now for model training, let's leave some space. Now we need to initialize the model. Model equals profit. So here I'm going to pass a basic parameter. You can also set this parameter yearly seasonality equals true. So it would understand the seasonality trend. There are so many parameters. You can fine tune the parameters in hyperparameter tuning. You need to manually set it some parameters, or you can also do some backtesting in order to fine tune the parameters. So based on the parameters only, the model will perform so much better. Let's see. And seasonality prior scale is 0.9. I'm just going with the default parameters that I know. So based on the data set, the parameters will change. So you need to fine tune the parameters for the data set. Now, model dot fit train, run this. Okay, we have ran the model. Now we need to predict the future. So future data frame, future equals model dot make future data frame. So based on the date values only, it's going to predict. So you can use this method. So periods equals 60. So we already decided we are going to predict 60 days. You can also use this date in the test column directly instead of this feature. Let's display it in order to see it clearly what inside. So this is the data we have, DS from 25, 26, and it goes on. This is the starting data frame. See the ending 2014 9/25. Let's see it for test. So test dot tail, run this 2014 9/25. We are just generating all the date time using this future method. So this is going to predict 60 days from the training data set. Okay, let's do the forecasting now. Forecast equals model dot predict future. Now let's display the forecast results. This will return a data frame with all the analysis. Let's run this. Now this is the data we got. So these are the statistical information that the model gives. So we can see the trend line and y hat lower, y hat upper means this is like a uppermost prediction and the lowermost prediction. So y hat is the actual result. So y hat upper and y hat lower means that the forecast can go up to this maximum of 163 and lower to minus 1734. Like that, you can specify some range, and there is also some trend upper and lower, additive terms lower upper, and all the normal terms are also here, yearly upper, yearly lower. So they are displaying the trend accordingly. Let's display this components in order to see it clearly. You can understand easily while displaying it using a graph. So model dot plot components, run this. Okay, we need to pass this forecast. Okay, run this. So we can clearly see the trend as in the EDA. So the trend is an increasing trend. So we have an increasing trend. So it's just showing how the data is progressing over the years. And this is the weekly trend. So from Monday to Friday, we have a high number of users, and Sunday and Saturday, we have low number of users. Like that, we are getting a trend here for weekly. This is daily trend. So, but it shows yearly. You can see how the data goes in between the months. So from July or September to November, we have a high number of counts, and we are seeing again a trend, weekly trend, and the yearly ones. Okay, finally, we have got all the results. Let's test it with the test data. So we have the test data ds and y. Here also we have ds and y hat. Based on this, we will plot the data, test results. Now plot dot figure fig size equals, let's say 10 comma 7. Now plot dot plot test of ds and the value is y. So test of y, this is the base data. Now plot dot plot, we need to get the last 60 tables, right? So we will get that spread equals forecast dot ilog. So from minus 60 till the end, it will get, and we need to get all the rows. Let's see how many data we have. Run this. So we have 60 columns. That is the last one. Let's display this prediction of ds. That is the same date. Test of y hat. Let's see whether the column name is correct. Y hat. And we need to give a color equals, let's say red. I hope this will run. Plot.show. Let's try to run this. Okay, it's showing some error. That is y hat is missing, but we are getting some data. Okay, this is prediction. Let's run this. So this is the prediction results we got. We are just seeing for the 60-day time period. That's why we are getting the result right like this. This is like a average trend we are getting. Let's see what is the y hat lower and upper. So that is this results, y hat lower and y hat upper. Let's copy this, paste it. So this will be lower, and again this will be upper. Let's change the color. This will be green and this can be orange. Let's run this. So this is the trend we are getting. So far it's almost covering the pattern, but not abruptly. So we can able to understand we need to change some of the parameters here. So here I'm just use some basic parameters. That's why the results are like this. Still we are getting a prediction and it is also in the increasing trend. So we are actually getting some useful data from this. If you change the hyperparameters according to the data, you can actually follow the pattern and predict more accurately. Let's display the whole graph, for instance, like the whole forecast. So forecast of ds, comma, forecast of y hat. Now plot.show, run this. So far we are getting an increasing trend. This is the forecast it has made from the data. So we definitely need to tune some hyperparameters, but it actually captures the trend and it goes with the flow. Let's compare it with the graph that is seen in the input. See, it's actually following the increasing trend and it's actually following in the pattern. So if you say it will go like this up to 1200, here it just gone up to 10,000 because we are displaying in a day-wise format. So this is in a hour-wise format. Maybe let's display this in a day-wise format. We have the data frame here. So let's display it. So this will be the forecast data. Forecast data. This will be the input data. Let's just copy this and reuse it quickly. So df, df, and this will be y. Let's run this. So it's also going up to 15 to 17,000. It is because there is a serious trend in this format, but the result is almost following this pattern. So we are getting a clear trend using this data. Maybe let's predict the same thing for higher number of periods. Let's train it again. Let's do it quickly. So model equals profit. Now again, yearly seasonality is true. Seasonality prior scale is 0.9. Now model dot fit df future equals model dot make feature data frame. Okay, we need to type it, I guess. Make future data frame periods equals how many days we can able to predict. For now, we have predicted for 60 days. So we can predict up to, let's say 200 days. So we're going to predict up to 200 days. Now forecast equals model dot predict future. Now forecast dot head. Run this. So we got the result. Now let's display the forecasted data. Run this. So we have actually captured the trend. See, it gone up to 15,000, similar to the input. So I think that's it, guys. We have analyzed the data set and made a forecast according to the time periods for our wish. So you need to do some hyperparameter tuning in order to improve the accuracy of this particular model. Apart from this, there are other models like ARIMA models and LSTM. We can also use that, and that accuracy will be much higher or lower. It is also depends on the analysis you are going to do. So that's it, guys. If you like this video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe the channel for future videos. Stay tuned for the next video.